A nice story told by the acclaimed Jeff Daniels, who's proud to call Michigan his home state. Packers and Lions about to get it underway. Mike McCarthy, who won Super Bowl 45, Green Bay, joining Lombardi and Holmgren as Super Bowl winning coaches for the Packers. And you saw Jim Caldwell, who won an AFC championship at Indianapolis, took that team to Super Bowl 44, where they were defeated by the New Orleans Saints. Now back to receive the kick here. Janis, who has broken off two big returns the last two games, a 70-yarder and a 64-yarder. Now will he get the chance, because Sam Martin last week, 8 kickoffs, 8 touchbacks. This will be returnable. So Janis from about 3, maybe 4 deep, comes up 2 yards shy of the 20, and that's where we'll bring out Aaron Rodgers. Again, 61 attempts 19 days ago against the Lions. His completion percentage is the lowest in a 2-game stretch of his career. How much of that has been on Aaron?
Well, a little bit. I think the fact that he's had to move around so much, Jim, has unnerved him a little bit. The receivers, we're going to talk about it all night, show it all night. Can they find ways to get open quickly so Aaron Rodgers can deliver the football on time?
They've got Cobb in a slot to the left, Adams down at the near side, who caught 10 balls in the first matchup. Starks starts at running back, and he rips off a nice run of about 6, and he actually kind of favored that right side, which has 2 backups in tonight. Lane Taylor for TJ Lang, who's out with a shoulder, and Don Barclay, who comes on at right tackle for Bulaga, who's out with an ankle.
Well, if your offense is struggling, one thing you want to do, tempo, going fast right away.
And they come back with Starks, and he weaves for a first down out close to the 30. He had a nice block there by his fullback, John Kuhn, and it's back-to-back 6-yard carries for Starks.
Now they want to get the fullback, John Kuhn, into this game more, and also watch the center. Corey Lindsley comes up the field, gets a good block, and that's what they want. Take some pressure off of Aaron Rodgers. Run the football. Don't put it all on him to make plays by moving and finding guys the second time around.
And here's a first down handoff again. Starks tried to strip it from him. He holds on. That was Reed reaching in, trying to grab hold of it, but Starks, again, a good carry. This one for 4. He has the first 3 handles of the game.
Well, you know, the other thing, too, is you look at this Detroit defense, their number one thing tonight, of course, they've been better stopping the run the last 3 weeks. But when Aaron Rodgers passes the football, keep him in the pocket.
Well, here he goes, looking up top for the first time, dancing around and trying to sling it over to Starks. It'll be 3rd and 6 coming up for Green Bay.
So that's something you see a lot, Jim. You know, Aaron Rodgers was looking all over the field. That's James Jones, Darius Slay, the best cover guy. And on the other side, here comes the in-cut, Randall Cobb. How's that coverage? Nowhere to throw it. Then at the last second, he has to change his mind. The throw comes up short.
3 of 11 on 3rd down last week in the loss to the Bears. And Jason Jones of the Lions jumped across. Was he drawn off, as Carl Cheffers will soon explain?
Neutral zone infraction. Number 91 defense. His movement into the neutral zone caused a reaction by the offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
Yeah, but it's 3rd and 1 this time.
Well, it's a huge difference. Jason Jones, top of the screen, number 91. You know, that's not a good sign when you're home and the opposing quarterback is using his signals and his voice to draw you offside.
He goes to the gun, and he tosses it to Starks. And Starks, they collapse in on him and actually drop him for a loss of a yard. Whitehead was there along with Ansah.
Well, Ziggy Ansah, Tahir Whitehead, the outside linebacker, number 59, very athletic, fast, tough to get around the edge on this defense sometimes because of the speed. Number 94, watch Ziggy on. Oh, man, Ziggy Ansah, great job taking on the block, getting the tackle.
So Mastay comes in and Golden Tate waves his arms and tells his teammates back off of it and be careful, because it's a short punt, only 31 yards by Mastay. Matthew Stafford. How will he back up a 5-touchdown performance? Stafford and the Lions ready for their first snap. Coming off his highest quarterback rating of his 7-year career. First Lion to ever throw 5 touchdowns with no picks in a game. Abdullah, his rookie running back, has a lane, and he's got about 12. The second rounder out of Nebraska, brought down by Clinton Dix.
Well, there's no doubt he's fast. Watch Eric Ebron gets up in there, gets the block. Good read by Abdullah to wait just that second. Always hard, Jim, for young running backs. They're impatient. That time he showed it.
No, this is something they haven't had really any success all year, running the football.
Well, they have it. The rookie guard, Tomlinson, came around, made a nice block, too.
They're tied with Cleveland. The worst rushing numbers in the league. After a 12-yard pickup, little toss to Riddick. He was a big threat out of the backfield in the passing game. He's got only one here. Theo Riddick, brought down by Shields. So Stafford made his first Pro Bowl this past season, was co-MVP of the game over in Hawaii, throwing for over 300 yards and a couple of touchdowns. And again, he put up those monster numbers last week. He led them at one time, the Lions, to 6 straight scoring drives against the Eagles.
Well, since they've changed offensive coordinators, Jim Bob Cooter has really changed this offense. The biggest thing, better protection for Matt Stafford.
Third different running back in 3 plays. It's Bell. Here's Stafford's pass. And he's got Calvin Johnson to the 35.
Calvin Johnson against Sam Shields. It's man coverage. They're going to come across the field. He's just, I said it in the opening, he just looks different. He looks fresh. We asked Jim Caldwell about it, and he goes, they really watch him in practice so he doesn't overrun, get tired, and lose that speed. But what a big guy that can run so fast and has a pair of great hands.
Got a chance to reach 1,000 yards on the season tonight with a 79-yard performance. He's got 20 of it right there. And now for the Green Bay 35, that's Bell. Trying to step past the defenders and maybe got it back to the line of scrimmage. Jones brought him down. You brought up Jim Bob Cooter, who takes over an offensive coordinator. Came out of the University of Tennessee with some really high praise by Phil Fulmer when he was assisting there for the Volunteers.
High praise by Jim Caldwell, too. How about this? Very, very unusual, Jim. During the middle of the season, they actually changed terminology. In other words, the way they call plays. That is a heavy load, hard to do by the players, but they got it done, and it's worked out well for the first 4 weeks that he's been here as a coordinator.
A second down and 10. And Stafford looking for options and then goes back across the middle to Bell. Takes it down to about the Green Bay 27. Joyce Bell.
Really good job, Matt Stafford. He probably the first few weeks of the year, he'd have ran out of the pocket because he didn't trust his protection. He looks right, doesn't like what he sees, has the extra time to find Bell out of the backfield. So good start for this Detroit Lions offensive line.
Picks up 7. He gets hit this time. Again, he was not sacked once in the game at Green Bay November 15th.
Well, he didn't get sacked, but I'll promise you, you saw it. He was under a lot of pressure. People don't realize he's athletic, can move around and get away from pressure when he needs to.
Well, he faces a third down here. We'll call it 3rd and 3. And they failed to snap it in time. You can even hear the extra urgency in Stafford's voice.
False start, number 15, offense. 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
So a pre-snap penalty before the delay of game. Never miss a moment of football action with the CBS Sports app. Every play and score, every game and every highlight, right as they happen. Download the CBS Sports app now, cbssports.com/mobile. So the home team has already been hit with 2 pre-snap penalties in the first 5.5 minutes. And Caldwell and company face a 3rd and 8 now.
You can see this Green Bay defense moves around as much as any defense in the league, trying to disguise what they're doing.
Here's Stafford in traffic, and it's incomplete. Going for Calvin.
Yeah, bad read that time by Matthew Stafford, right down the middle of the field. Calvin Johnson covered, and also watch Casey Hayward, 29, top of your screen. He reads it, and if the ball wasn't tipped, he was going to get an interception. Well, Calvin Johnson's the one who got his hands on it.
Yeah, he actually had a chance to make that grab. Instead now, 51-yard field goal attempt from Matt Prater. He's long of the year, 52. He's within a yard of that. He's been under the weather all week. Missed practice. He has not missed this year. And that streak continues. 15 out of 15 in the field goal department.
Kickers can't get sick. You got to get out there and play.
That's
there
right. NFL Thursday Night Football is sponsored by Cricket Wireless. Something to smile about. Fruit of the Loom. They test their products so you know they work. And by Wendy's. This was Tuesday. About 40 Lions players and their families spent time with some local children from Orchard's Children's Services. Took them to a local department store and helped them purchase gifts for the holiday season. Good for the Lions. There's Joy Bell. Jim Nance, Phil Simms, Tracy Wolfson, and Mike Carey in the booth with us as well. The Lions put up a field goal on their first possession of the game. Sam Martin handles the kickoff chores again. And like what he did every time last week, this time, unlike the opening kickoff, he's got the touchback. Two of the best throwers in the game, Rodgers, Stafford, in a key game for both sides. Only 2 episodes to go before the finale tomorrow on CBS. Will this season's winningest team stumble and lose it all? All new Amazing Race tomorrow at 8, 7 Central, only CBS. They bring in a different receiving group. They bring in Janis and Abbrederis along with Cobb. And on first down, they dump it off here. Starks. And look at him slip to a tackle and weave his way all the way to the Detroit 47, a gain of 33, but there is a penalty marker down.
First thing you want to do against Green Bay's offense, keep Aaron Rodgers in the pocket. The second, to me, is the screen game. It's been lethal.
Personal foul, face mask, number 71 offense. Half the distance to the goal. Repeat first down.
That's on Josh Sitton, the left guard. Wipes out a huge gain for the Packers.
Well, brought everybody up. Number 71 down the field against Tahir Whitehead. Grabs the face mask. Good call. But that screen was probably the number 1 producing play for Green Bay the last couple weeks.
No Eddie Lacy on the first series at all, nor at the start of the second drive. He's coming off back-to-back 100-yard games. First and 16, and Starks is swallowed up right away by the likes of Slay and others. And there's a wrestle for the football. That is going to stay with Green Bay.
You know, even though Eddie Lacy has had those 100-yard rushing games, first let's see if the football does come out. Doesn't matter. He gets it back, James Starks. It does come loose. Watch him somehow knows it's, of course he knows it's gone and gets the football, but Green Bay playing the guys that have done well in practice.
2nd and 18, long ball time for Janis, and it's incomplete. Good coverage by Lawson, who is right with him. Janis, who comes from this state, Saginaw Valley State, second-year player. He has speed, and that's what they've been missing.
Well, that's why they put him in the game, and that's the first thing Mike McCarthy says, going against Devin Lawson, who had a terrific game against this team the first time around, but he has great speed down the field. Really, that's something this Green Bay wide receiving core lacks.
Oh, Taylor just got away with a kick into the midsection of Rodgers.
Randall Cobb in the backfield.
3rd and 18. Dancing around and finding his man, who's 2 yards short of the first. That's Abbrederis.
Really good job knowing the situation there, Jim. They let him go across the field, Abbrederis, knowing where the first down marker was, and then making the tackle. Bottom of your screen, coming all the way across. Aaron Rodgers took a chance and waited for that deep end cut. Perello, the tight end, was open, turned it down, trying to get the first down the field.
So those 2 pass plays, an incompletion to Janis, and then a 16-yard hookup with Abbrederis as they're looking for other answers out there on the outside, the likes of Adams and Jones, as we saw the first series, not able to get open. And it's Golden Tate with the fair catch after a 48-yard boot this time. NFL Thursday Night Football is sponsored by Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side. And by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. The transcending sculpture in Hart Plaza along the Detroit River. Guess who we have here tonight? That is Jason Day, the PGA champion, who set that all-time record at Whistling Straits in August. The lowest score ever in relation to par to win a major. Taken in the game. Here's a first down handoff. And Abdullah is unable to bounce outside. He tried to make that cut. Loss of 3. First 8 games of the season, this team, of course, got off to just a horrible 0-5 beginning. No team's ever started 0-5 and made the postseason. You can't tell them that right now because they're seeing these numbers on the right that are so promising. They've got the 3 straight wins, and they think they're in a gear.
Big reason why. Blitzers, pass protection. That's why the team has turned around, and Stafford's play has gotten better.
Quick toss to Golden Tate, and he was able to break an ankle tackle and get near the 30, gain of 8.
You know, to go back, why are Matt Stafford, he was not playing well. Listen, I don't know how he could play well. He was getting hit everywhere. He had injuries. Everything on his body was hurt. And like I said, they were missing blitzers. Now they fixed some of their problems. His performance has gone up. It's pretty simple usually in the NFL. When a quarterback gets hot, means he has good pass protection.
He also got hit pretty heavily the first couple of weeks.
Yeah, San Diego and Minnesota. It's amazing he made it through it.
3rd and 5. That'll pick up the first. Tate able to get the separation. Got away from Joe Thomas for 12.
Well, that time, lots of time to throw the football. It's really a blitz from the top, but the fact that the route was there, it was quick. They don't pick it up. Here comes the free blitzer on the outside. Sam Shield, but Golden Tate got open quick. Very precise route. And Matt Stafford gets rid of the football.
Data.
They fake into the line. Stafford getting extra time and now taken off. For a big gain, he got tripped up from behind, but not until he picked up the first 12-yard scramble.
You know, we said that the first drive, that you just don't realize when you watch Matt Stafford, everybody always talks about his arm, but he moves around very well, and he does this, which we see more and more by all the quarterbacks taking advantage of the opportunity to run, the coverage on the outside. That's a good no throw. T.J. Jones down the middle, Micah Hyde very well covered, and Matt Stafford knows that's a big play, gets him fired up.
Here's a first down run, wide open field it is for Abdullah, into the secondary and beyond to the 10. That picks up 37 for Abdullah, his longest run of the year, the longest run by any Lion this year.
Well, you know, Jim, when you do a lot on defense, you get guys going opposite ways, and then you watch right up the middle, good trap. Burton gets the block, but sometimes they miss an assignment when you talk about this Green Bay defense. They can be great, stop the run, then they give up a big running play. Case in point, Todd Gurley, St. Louis Rams, had a few big runs against his defense.
This is Abdullah for a couple more. He had 63 on the ground against the Eagles, and believe it or not, that was the biggest rushing performance by any Lion running back this year, just 63. He's almost got that here in the first quarter. By the way, next Thursday night only on NFL Network, Vikings take on the Cardinals. This is just a huge game. The 2nd and 3rd seeds at the moment in the NFC. They'll meet next Thursday only on NFL Network. Minnesota, the top rushing team in the league. Arizona, the top scoring team. A big one coming your way next Thursday night. Again, only NFL Network. 2nd and 7. Finding Tate at the 5, and he curls to about the 2.
You know, the one thing as I watch this game, slow start by the Packers, really on both sides of the football. And the first thing Mike McCarthy said to us when he came in, we talked to him last night, boy, I got a tired, beat-up football team. Hard to even get enough guys to go out and practice against each other during the week. And we kind of see that right now. Not a lot of energy, couple blown assignments. Detroit knocking at the door again.
But again, both teams coming off a Thursday game last week, not a quick turnaround. Here's a 3rd and 2 to the end zone, and Ebron has it for the touchdown.
Well, we said it, when you do a lot on defense, you get caught making mistakes, and nobody this time is covering Ebron, the tight end. And Matt Stafford saw it the whole way. Here's the tight. Look at that, Jim. You got it. Somebody's got to be the quarterback and go, hey, we need another guy over here to help cover the tight end. So
I'll tell you who else saw it. Running down the sideline, trying to get a timeout, trying to get the officials' attention was Mike McCarthy, and they didn't see him. So Stafford takes advantage. And Eric Ebron with his 4th touchdown of the year. Prater adds the extra point. Well, you're talking Green Bay is the leading scoring first quarter team in the NFL. But their opponent tonight, the Lions, have put up 10 here in the first. Join Carrie Underwood, Lady Gaga, Sam Smith, and many more as they celebrate the one and only Sinatra. It's an all-star Grammy salute Sunday at 9, 8 Central, only CBS. And you know why they're celebrating Sinatra. Next week would have marked his 100th birthday.
oh, there you go.
The chairman of the board. And this kick out 5 yards beyond the end line.
Well, when you're a quarterback, you look on the field and say, oh, nobody's covering the tight end. He goes into a quick panic. Look at him looking at Eric Ebron. Man, that was a great job by him seeing it. Terrible job by the Packers defense.
Well, what about the Packers offense, though?
Well, we'll see.
They haven't done anything either so far.
No, they haven't. You know, the thing that we said in the opening has held true here a little bit already. The Detroit Lions said, we're a lot better team now than we were 3 weeks ago when Green Bay saw us up there.
Boy, there's Eddie Lacy, almost lost the handle. His first action picks up a couple. They've had Eddie running these last 2 games, much what everyone expected coming into the season. Of course, he had this nagging ankle injury most of the year. In fact, he even set out the first Lion game 3 weeks ago with a groin. But back-to-back 100-yard performances for the first time in his career the last 2 weeks. 2nd and 8. Rodgers flings it. He's intercepted for only the 5th time this year. And it's Quinn who has it down to the 16. Intended for James Jones, and Glover Quinn playing in his 96th straight game. He was questionable all week with an ankle. He said, I'm not going to miss this game, and he comes out and gets a first quarter pick.
Good job by Aaron Rodgers getting out of the pocket. And here's what I've noticed the last few weeks. Usually that is a guaranteed slam dunk. He never misses it. But I don't know if it's the pressure, but on the move, he's missed a few receivers in the last 2 weeks. And that was a bbig miss. Down the middle, missing high, always leads to an interception.
Certainly looked like it was a catchable ball. I know he's really jumping up for it.
Barkley just...
Hey, right here.
From the 17. Looking for Megatron, and it's a touchdown. Right over Sam Shields. Taking just seconds to strike off the takeaway.
Well, just what they wanted. Jim Caldwell, everybody in the line said, hey, if you want a single cover, Calvin Johnson, we are going to throw this type of ball at you. How about the jump? Gets the left toe in.
Yeah, watch what he does to get that left foot down, holding on to the football.
Yeah, he got that other hand back on it. That would have been
Look at him control it by the nose.
Sam Shields, great coverage. Right there, nothing you can do with the perfect throw and a 6'5" or 6'6" wide receiver who goes up and gets the football.
So now 7 touchdowns on the season for Calvin. He had 3 through the first 10 games of the season. Gets 3 last Thursday. Another one here in the first quarter. And that extra point, the Packers very nearly got to it, but it goes through. Packers might have been offsides.
On the extra point, offside, number 29, defense. That 5-yard penalty will be added to the kickoff.
2 Matthew Stafford touchdown passes in a 48-second span. The Lions beat the Packers 18-16 at Lambeau Field. They've already put up 17 in this opening quarter. And the Packers, who had allowed only 1 giveaway touchdown, if you will, in the year, the opponent had 10 takeaway points on the season before tonight. They take advantage of the interception by Quinn, and they go for the touchdown on the very first play off of it.
Well, you look to the right side, Aaron Rodgers gets forced out of the pocket because the right tackle, Don Barkley, just let his guy, it looked like Jason Jones, force Aaron Rodgers up and out, caused him to make an errant throw on the interception.
These kickoffs are getting deeper every time. 17-0 Lions. Let's go to Tracy.
Well, you mentioned it, 17-0 Lions, and that's what prompted an impromptu meeting on the sideline. It was called over by John Kuhn. He gathered over the whole offense, and he pointed to the scoreboard, and you can just tell exactly what he was saying. He was talking about the score and how much time into the game it is already, and how down they are, and how they need to get back into this one quickly, Jim.
Well, Kuhn on the sideline here as the Packers off the touchback at the 20. Rodgers had not thrown an interception in a stretch against the Lions that was for more than 5 games. 5 games and a couple of quarters. Gets picked here in the opening quarter, and he tries to unload it in time. That pass did not get past the line of scrimmage. Tulloch was there on him.
Well, Quandre Diggs. Detroit knows its offense right now, no confidence, in shambles, and they come with the pressure. Good call by the defensive coordinator, Terrell Austin. And Quandre Diggs came free. Aaron Rodgers tried to get away and throw it away.
Intentional grounding, number 12, offense. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Loss of down, second down.
He was out of the pocket, but he did not get the football past the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, there's no doubt he's outside the pocket. Here comes Diggs, nobody blocking him. And the football 5 yards short. Here he comes. Something that Detroit and Green Bay, but Detroit does a lot of different stuff on the defensive side. You've got to be alert at all times. Defensive linemen drop back in coverage, and we just saw a blitzer from the secondary.
Lost it down, so 2nd and 21, back at the 9. Pressure all around him in the pocket. Now it opens up. Somebody open. He's looking for him. And it's incomplete. That was Rodgers, but a flag is out. Abdul Kudus on the coverage.
Aaron Rodgers looked about 4 times to his left. I think he was looking at Devontae Adams, and he never got open. And finally, he looked to the right side and saw Richard Rodgers running deep down the field.
Pass interference, number 52, defense. Ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
I'm sure they meant 42. Isa Abdul Kudus. It's a 40-yard penalty. And that's on Caduce, not on Rodgers. Mike Carey.
Yeah, no, that was a foul by Shore. The ball's in the air. Even though he turned back, he ran right into the receiver. That's DPI all the time.
Okay. Brings the ball to the 49, from the 9 to the 49. They go draw. Lacey stuffed. And Caduce, who just got penalized, Abdul Caduce, comes up and makes the tackle, loss of 1.
Well, you saw who was in the backfield that time, didn't you? Big number 92, Haloti Ngata. There's a reason why this run defense has gotten better, Jim, the last couple weeks. He is healthy. You got to double team him, otherwise he will disrupt your run game.
Final seconds of the first quarter. And 2nd and 11 for Green Bay. There's a pass on the mark for Rodgers. And the best play of the game so far for Green Bay to close out the quarter. 17-0 Detroit after 1. Back after these messages, and you're watching Thursday Night Football. We're back here in Detroit for the start of the second quarter. The Packers were blanked last week against Chicago, quarters 3 and 4. The opening one tonight, so 45 minutes without any point production, but they start this quarter with an incompletion in Detroit territory. Hey, going to break, you might have caught a glimpse of this. We showed you Jason Day, the PGA champion, was #1 in the world for a time this year. There's a background.
There he is.
Look at him.
Well, that's what we were all doing when he shot that record score at the PGA this year to win his first major. So,
yeah, in disbelief. Good to see him enjoying himself. Great young man.
Aaron Rodgers has to have a little more confidence right now than probably earlier. Some really good pass protection the last couple throws.
And here he is on 2nd and 10. Back to Rodgers and into the red zone for the first time tonight for Green Bay.
Well, that's against Abdul Caduce. Man-to-man coverage. Watch 82 just go down the field and right across. One thing I'll say, of course, it was talked about, written about, everybody on TV's saying it. Can the receivers get open for Green Bay? I know one guy that's getting open. That's Rodgers.
That's 2 catches on this drive, totaling 34 yards. Lacey. And his first 3 carries haven't generated much. 3 carries for a couple yards. Saturday, the best game for the best conference, is the biggest one of the year in the SEC. The SEC Championship game, Florida and Alabama on CBS, all beginning with CBS College Football Championship Saturday and college football today. A couple Alabama guys, Lacey and Clinton Dix. They'll be watching that game. Carrillo was in on the field. Tight end for the Packers, number 80. 2nd and 8. Wrestled down right away. Abdul Caduce all over this field.
Yeah, he is, Jim. Really impressive player, got speed. And, you know, just watching that play, Randall Cobb just says, man, I got to start catching the football and breaking tackles. Hard to break a tackle right there, but that's what this offense is missing, a few things. But you got to take some of these short passes, break a tackle, and make something special out of it.
Third and 6. And dragged down. A fight for the football too, but Rodgers held on. Devin Taylor was the one who just muscled his way around the block and decked Rodgers for a 9-yard loss. You're going to kick a field goal.
Well, Devin Taylor, they got quite a few guys. Jones, Taylor on the outside. About 6'6". It helps. Long arms, reaches out, gets the sack. And since Aaron Rodgers is in the pocket, Jim, there's no such thing as a horse collar, even though he gets him by the jersey.
41-yard attempt coming up. Mason Crosby. Crosby's kick. Off the upright, no good. Crosby, who missed the 52-yarder at the end of the first matchup between these two that would have won it. This time from 41. No good. You're looking at Stephen Tulloch. The Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award presented by Nationwide. A long history of honoring players who have significantly impacted both the game and their communities. Each team nominates one player. 3 finalists will be announced in January, the winner being announced at the NFL Honors Award show on February 6th. The nominee for the Lions is Stephen Tulloch, who launched Operation 55 through his foundation. He's touched many lives here, citywide, his outreach. Good for him. Abdullah shifts back alongside Stafford and cradles it out to about the 35. Stafford so far 8 out of 9, 73 yards, and a pair of touchdown tosses.
Well, first it's being alert, seeing an uncovered tight end, really a huge mistake, which we've talked about. Scan the field, see everything, and of course he's looking right down the middle here, Jim. He knows he has 81. Calvin Johnson one-on-one, and that's an automatic for this offense. They see those type of situations, especially now. The offensive line better. Calvin Johnson run as fast as I've ever seen him. They're going to throw it down the field.
Yeah, former #1 overall pick throwing to a former #2 overall pick on that second touchdown. And that's incomplete, wide of the mark for Abdullah.
We talked about it a little bit, this offense. They changed the terminology. But I think the other thing is they got rid of all the little mistakes, like wide receivers. If you're supposed to run 10 yards, don't run 8, don't run 12, run 10. And they've gotten much more precise. Everybody held accountable, and that's why the offense has performed not great, but better than it was before.
Face of 3rd and 6. Sidearms it. Trying to connect with Corey Fuller, and the Green Bay defense has a stop. That's Rollins knocking it down.
It's Green Bay defense, they can cover 2. Good protection from Matthew Stafford. He looked at everybody. But Quentin Rollins, high draft pick, did a great job on Fuller.
First punt coming up for the Lions after scores on their first 3 possessions. Sam Martin, 3rd-year player out of Appalachian State. Micah Hyde steps up and struggles, but gets there to make the fair catch. This NFC North right now is led by the Minnesota Vikings. How about this division? The Packers undefeated there the first month and a half, looked to be in control of things, while the Lions were winless through their first 5. Then the Vikings caught fire, their surge, the Packers slide, moved Minnesota into first by week 10, and there you see it, game up. Minnesota over Green Bay, even though Green Bay 2 weeks ago beat them at the Vikings home field.
Well, there's just no easy outs. Look at the first 4 possession of Green Bay's offense. But, hey, Jim, the Chicago Bears, the Detroit Lions off the bad starts. It's typical. We write them off, and look how they played of late very well.
Rodgers able to just flip it to Starks to the 30.
Well, the Lions, they have some good pass rushers. How do you slow pass rushers down? Draws and screens. A little flip by Aaron Rodgers, like a shovel pass almost.
Managed to get 6 out of that. Cobb moves over to the other side, and back to Starks. He tripped off of his own lineman there. Tripped off the back heel of Barkley. And now the Packers will face third and about 7.
Well, they faked the reverse. They're trying some things. We've seen some different personnel go in there. But Haloti Ngata, how about that? Just drives the offensive lineman back in the backfield, and that's what James Starks trips over.
Might have been Lane Taylor, it might have been. 3rd and 7. Packers trying to get something going. And Rodgers loses the football. Lindsley is able to fall on it. Again, it was Taylor who got to Rodgers. And Corey Lindsley, who was out last week with an ankle, back in there today, smartly able to fall on it.
Going to have to help out the right tackle. There's no question. Don Barclay, he's a backup. They're missing their two starters. You talked about it. Brian Bulaga, TJ Lang, the right guard. So you change your formations, keep somebody in there, give Aaron Rodgers a little more time.
Well, they've sacked him now on his last 2 third-down situations. Both times Taylor. Maste's punt to Tate. Fakes right, flag down, goes left. And Kuhn is the one who ends it at the 35 after a 52-yard boot.
I don't know what to make of this, really. Is Detroit, is it real, or is Green Bay just going downhill as a football team? We've seen them lose these games of late. And off the bad start here.
Holding number 10 of receiving team. 10-yard penalty. First down, timeout.
Devin Taylor has gotten to Rodgers twice. Very nearly got another takeaway for the Lion defense. NFL Thursday Night Football is sponsored by Mazda. Driving matters. Chick-fil-A. We didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich. And by Macy's. As you look at the facilities of Better Made Snack Foods, a Detroit icon for 85 years. Look, the Lions, they got to put all the chips on the table here, so to speak, their partner.
There you go.
They need to win out.
They got to win out. They know it. They believe they can. And the way they started here tonight,
yeah, looks like they look pretty good. They don't play a team, by the way. The next 4, the last 4, all those teams have losing records. They hand off to Abdullah for 1.
Well, Jim, let's look at this. Matthew Stafford dropping back. Weeks 1 through 7, it was 12.5 yards. Now it's much shorter. Why is that? Well, they simplified things for the offensive line. They're pass protecting better. The routes by the receivers are crisper, more sure what they're doing. And the biggest thing, doing all that, Matthew Stafford throwing the football on time has really helped this offense out.
Those numbers are next-gen stats. And, of course, this will generate a ruling. Guyon was across for Green Bay.
Neutral zone infraction, number 98 defense. 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
Tonight, you can see why critics are calling Stephen Colbert seriously funny and thrilling to watch. The Late Show. Stephen Colbert, tonight, only CBS.
I think, too, there's a lot of things in this game that upset you, but you look at this Green Bay defense, they don't get the turnovers that Mike McCarthy wants. He goes, look, we got guys over there that are dynamic. They can make these plays when we get opportunities. We just seem to never take advantage of it.
It's a 2nd and 4. Great play, just busting across the line and dragging him down is Mike Neal.
Yeah, you know, they got guys like Mike Neal coming off the outside, unblocked. Got to be a mistake by the offensive line or the tight end who just let him go.
Yeah, untouched, loss of 3.
But I said they do a lot. We haven't heard anything yet from Clay Matthews. Haven't heard Julius Pepper's name. You know, those are the secondary solid. It's fast. They can cover. Somebody's got to make a play to get this football team back into it. Excuse me.
3rd and 7. It's Matthews coming in. Stafford is sacked for the first time tonight. It's Micah Hyde coming up.
Well, you said it. Matthew Stafford and Micah Hyde, a linebacker and a defensive back. They know how to change things up. Clay Matthews comes inside, and then the read by 33. Nobody to block him, so he comes in and gets the sack. Great job.
So Hyde, after making the sack, drops back to receive this punt. Stafford's upset at some of his teammates as the Packers got to him for the first time tonight. Good catch. 25. Now they're happy football fans here in Motown after a 45-14 win a week ago. 17-0 here. That's a, 62-14 stretch. Packer defense has made a couple of stops the last 2 series. But meanwhile, Green Bay's anemic rushing totals, 9 carries for 12 yards. As the Lions have been doing this now the last 3.5 weeks.
That's right, it's a trend.
And they hammer Lacey at the line, make it 10 carries for 12 yards. And what about Rodgers so far?
Well, what kind of night's it been? It's been rough so far. Couldn't get rid of the football. Intentional grounding, overthrows when he gets outside the pocket, has somebody open. But to the right, we've talked about it, Devin Taylor a couple times. 3rd down, just overpowering Barkley to get the sack.
Go. Ready, go.
2nd and 10. Give it to Cobb. Starters kept move, and he knew that Ansah was waiting for him, and Tulloch helped finish him off. Another loss of 1.
Well, they've done it twice. The first time they faked the reverse. This time they run it on the outside. That's Ansah, makes him cut back. And boy, look how quick he is. Out, watch him turn and get back into the play.
Last 3 games, they've held their opponents to under 70 yards rushing. And so far, the Lions have held the Packers to 11 yards on 11 of carries. 3rd and 11. And pass. Thrown in the direction of Cobb, but out comes the flag. Diggs looks like he knows it.
Yep, doesn't get up and complains. That tells you.
Pass interference. Number 28 defense. Automatic. 1st down.
Quandre Diggs, 6th round rookie out of Texas, the younger brother of a former 1st round pick, Quentin Jammer.
Pretty tough call. The other thing is Aaron Rodgers had time to make this pass because that time they helped Barkley, the right tackle. Hit Devin Taylor with the tight end. Gave him time to throw it down the field.
Didn't see a whole lot there.
I didn't either.
2nd pass interference call against the Lions. And that's the first catch of the night for Devontae Adams, who again had 10 in the first meeting with the Lions. So you look at this defense the last 3 games. Not a single opponent has scored 17 points in any of these last 3 weeks.
Well, there's the big number. When you stop the running game, you let guys like Devin Taylor, Ziggy Ansah, all the rest able to rush the quarterback in a lot of known situations, and they've taken advantage of it.
2nd and 4. Rodgers has an open. Randall Cobb at the 50. And he's tossed down by Don Carey.
Well, Lindsley, the center's down, but here comes the blitz on the outside. Aaron Rodgers knew it was coming, had the right play called, hit Randall Cobb over the middle quickly.
We got Corey Lindsley, the starting center, down. May have re-aggravated that ankle that had him questionable this week and kept him out of the Bears game. J.C. Tretter has already come onto the field. As Lindsley, the 2nd-year center out of Ohio State, gets some attention. NFL Thursday Night Football is sponsored by State Farm. Find your agent. It's at statefarm.com. And by Pennzoil Synthetics. Make the switch to Pennzoil Pure Plus Synthetics today. Here's some of the highlights of Berkeley High School Bears JV team. About 20 minutes away from Ford Field. 1st down with the Packers. And again, they've had to bring in J.C. Tretter for Lindsley at center. And a flag is down as Rodgers throws it down the field. There's probably going to be a hold on Tretter, having just come into the game. He was tangled
Number
up with
73
Nata.
offense.
Yep.
10-yard penalty. Repeat 1st down.
Well, this is tough for the Green Bay Packers. And Haloti Ngata, watch how fast he comes around J.C. Tretter. maybe a little confusion, but how quick was the big guy? We talked about him in the run game.
So I'm tugging on the jersey.
Yep, saw that, but usually he just tries to overpower rushers. Good move at the line of scrimmage. Got the penalty.
10-yard step off, back to the 40. First and 20. Delay give. Lacey. No room. Once again, 5 carries for 4 yards for Lacey. Down to Tracy.
Jim, center Corey Lindsley actually re-aggravated that right ankle on the fumble recovery after Rodgers got sacked. He tried to work through it before this last drive, but decided to fight through it, took the field, and obviously it's really bothering him. Trainers came over to him. He really didn't mention anything. He's just walking up and down right now. It does not look like he's going in anytime soon. That leaves them now with just one offensive lineman to reserve, guys.
Second and 19, and Lacey makes the grab but will lose a couple of yards. So they got 3 starters on that offensive line out.
Well, that's one problem. Nobody getting open, so Aaron Rodgers holds it a little extra time, and guess who makes the hit? Devin Taylor once again.
Grimaced as his head bounced off the surface. 3rd and 22. Saw a glimpse of Bulaga and Lang, both inactive tonight, watching from the sideline, and Rodgers with Ansah giving chase. Just throws this one down the sidelines, and Jones was the intended target.
Well, pass protection, we know that. But you see this too when you watch the Green Bay Packers. To the right side, watch down the field. You got 2 receivers going down there, and they almost run into each other. It's just a mess. Nothing for Aaron Rodgers to see. He moves, still nobody open, even after he gets outside the pocket.
So now the Lions will get the football back, Phil, with 3 timeouts, a little more than 2.5 to play. And remember, they deferred at the start of the game. Just imagine if they could put together a drive here before halftime and then get the double up, get the first possession of the 3rd quarter. Already up 17. 42-yard net punt off the touchback. After the postgame on NFL Network, the moment Brett Favre walked away and the story behind his return to Green Bay. The Timeline, a new NFL Network original series, premieres tonight after the postgame only on NFL Network. Spirit of Detroit sitting outside the Coleman Young Municipal Building in downtown Detroit. But here we go with the Lions. 2:35 to play, 3 timeouts.
Well, just like we started the game with, you worried about the offensive line of the Packers. That's been a problem. Wide receivers, once again, just not having a good night. Can't get away from the defensive backs.
See what they can do here at the end of the 2nd quarter as Abdullah is taken down right away by Morgan Burnett. Loss of 3.
Listen, Detroit's offense struggled against its defense a few weeks ago, and that's why. Blitzing, a lot of movement for that Packer D.
And the Packer D takes time out. The Packers have the longest streak in the league scoring in the first half. They've had 56 games, consecutive games without being shut out in the first half. That's in jeopardy here as the pass is dumped off to Riddick, and the Packer defense trying to get the ball back. Here before halftime calls it 2nd timeout with 2:23 to play in the 2nd quarter. And here were some of the headlines early in the season. Cardinal centers, pathetic. Then the firings of the GM, the president, offensive coordinator. Went over to London and lost. But ever since they came back from Wembley Stadium in the game against Kansas City, 3 wins.
Well, it was the biggest, smiling, most confident 4-7 team I've ever been around. So they believed the change. They needed it, and it's worked well.
3rd and 6. Packers bring 5, and they get to Stafford. And he's upset again at his line. Clinton Dix this time. So they've sacked him twice, one by Hyde coming in from the secondary. This time Clinton Dix, and the Packers take their final timeout.
On the outside, he beats Theo Riddick. You know, the first look, there was time to throw it down the field, but nobody was open. So Theo Riddick, he's not a big running back. He just gets overpowered for the sack. Looks like he's yelling at maybe one of the receivers that time.
Looking downfield.
Yeah. Maybe confused about the route. Somebody ran the wrong one. That's why he had to hold it a little longer than he wanted to.
So the Packers defense with a 3rd straight forcing of 3 and out.
It's not like this, you know, we're saying all these nice things about this Detroit offense. They've taken advantage of a couple situations. Packer D coming through.
Micah Hyde, who had a 55-yard punt return against the Lions at Lambeau last year, has to call another fair catch. 52-yard punt. Okay, coming up, JB, Dion, and Coach. Their first half thoughts. And who will be performing on the Pepsi Super Bowl 50 halftime show?
That's going to be announced?
Well, it was supposed to be a surprise. And I'm sure it is for still a few folks, but in the last 4 or 5 hours, it's everywhere. It's cold outside, but here's the next play.
Oh,
inside.
Oh,
for the Packers from the 28.
That's not a hint.
No, of course not.
Blatant.
As Rodgers goes to Adams. And that'll bring it down to the 2-minute warning. All of that for a gain of 4. 2 minutes to go, second quarter. 17-0 Lions.
Here at the 2-minute warning, while on the bench, one of the Packers doctors went up to Aaron Rodgers just to check on him after that hard hit he took on that last drive. He just brushed them off and said he's okay, went back out on the field. Jim?
Tracy's got a 2nd and 6 with no timeouts here. Last 2 minutes of quarter 2. And now being chased out of the pocket. Turns it upfield. Hurdles near the first. Mark him a yard short.
Well, he had to get out of the pocket. The pocket's collapsing. And what happened to this team, Jim, even when we did them early in the year, when he would get out of the pocket, the receivers could stop and get open. He made the throws. But what's happened over these last 4 or 5 weeks, everybody knows it. And once he gets out of the pocket, nobody gets open. I'm looking down the field. There's nothing, not even a chance to get a completion for Aaron Rodgers.
They're 0 for 5 on 3rd down. 3rd and 1. Starks bouncing off the first hit and just manages to get back to the line of scrimmage as Abdul Quddus comes up to make the play. And the timeout's called by the Lions.
Well, I'll tell you. Well, what do you expect? There's just not much you can do. You have 3 backup offensive linemen in there.
You know, for the season, the Packers are 31% on 3rd down. It's the lowest success rate for a Green Bay team, 3rd down conversions, since 1987. You know, you think of them still as some sort of high-powered offense. They're, what, 23rd passing in the NFL.
Well, I think it's everything you've talked about, we've talked about, is all evident once again here tonight.
Lions trying to sweep Green Bay for the first time since 1991. That ball goes out of bounds at the 10 when Aaron Rodgers was 8. Matthew Stafford was 3. And here you go back to that 91 season. Week 2 of the year, Barry Sanders and Rodney Peete led Detroit to the win. And then in week 16, Eric Kramer threw a pair of touchdown passes. And Mel Gray returned a punt, 78 yards for a touchdown as the Lions won. Lindy Infante was the coach for the Packers. Wayne Fonts for Detroit. And speaking of where everyone was back in 91.
Oh, I know what I was doing. I was freezing.
Yeah.
And Tracy, That was her prom picture.
Junior prom.
Junior prom.
Junior prom.
Looks like she was having a good time.
I think she gets a chance to defend herself on that one. You should open up that mic. I'm just glad to be still wearing the same sport coat.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Mike Carey.
Yeah, that's
They haven't changed a bit.
He hasn't.
So a 10-yard completion. And down the sidelines and overthrown to Tate. Tracy, I think you got to have a chance to respond here.
I mean, seriously, Phil, I was just young and very excited to be invited.
I hear
There
you,
you
Tracy. That's right. The junior prom, that's the first big social event for everybody. So I know you were enjoying the moment. I want to call Jim out on that sport coat myself.
All right, maybe we let it out a little bit. 2nd and 10. Oh, diving attempt at the pick. Falls incomplete. That was Rollins. Got a hand on it.
Almost a mistake that could put Green Bay back in this game. Golden Tate on the outside. Comes across. Well, he hits. That's what happened. I was saying, why did he stop? Well, he ran into Micah Hyde and almost caused the interception.
3rd and 10 coming up for the Lions.
It's a good thing to be aggressive, but you've dominated the game, so you have to be careful in the throw and the decision-making right here.
They go screen. It's Riddick. He may have fallen for the first. Where did they spot it? Those of the football has to touch the 30 for a first.
Well, they mark him just short. Really good call. No risk of an interception or a bad play. Well, that's a great mark, too.
Yeah,
He was
great
definitely
spot.
short of the first down.
You know, the smart thing about going screen there is you pretty much ensure that ball's going to be caught, the clock's going to run.
That's exactly right.
Green Bay has no timeouts.
Hey, Green Bay's defense once again
come to life here after giving up touchdowns in 2 consecutive plays. These last 4 series, they've been in full lockdown. So again, the Lexus halftime report is coming up. Our man JB, Coach Coward, Dion, all getting set to discuss what happened here in the first half.
Well, we'll see if they have some answers for this Green Bay Packers team, and I don't know if there is one. Their defense is playing really well right now, and they just got to hope somewhere that the defense can make a play, give them field position, and get back in this game.
You know, the Lions in the second quarter, I'm talking about their defense, giving up 115 points. That's the most in the NFL by any team in any quarter this year. But tonight, they shut them out in both the first and second quarters. The Packers have gone now 60 minutes without a point. Their longest drought since 2006. Let's go down to Tracy.
Well, thanks a lot, Coach. You're down 3 offensive linemen. So how do you find some time to protect Aaron Rodgers in the second half?
Well, I mean, you got to start with running the football. We need to do a better job blocking up front, particularly inside. So when with that, get some action passing game. But, the whole penalties have hurt us. The penalties have put us in long down and distances, and we got to get rid of that.
Appreciate it. Thanks a lot, Jim.
Right. They need a spark. What they really need, a spark.
Yeah, they do. They need somebody on the offense, design a play to get somebody open down the field. They're going to have to do it, I think, in the passing game to get back in this game.
17-0 Lions at the intermission. Back with the Lexus halftime report. After this message and a word from your local station, you're watching Thursday Night Football, CBS, home of Super Bowl 50. To the end zone, and Ebron has it. Rodgers links it, he's intercepted. Looking for Megatron, touchdown. We actually just had the first game of the year that featured a scoreless second quarter for both sides.
Okay.
All 17 for the Lions. Coming in the first 15 minutes, the 2 Stafford touchdown passes. And hey, let's double check this highlight from the first half presented by State Farm. Stafford to Calvin Johnson right over Sam Shields. And Detroit will be receiving the second half kickoff here in just a moment. What kind of second half adjustments do you think we're going to see here from Green Bay?
Well, you were right. Not much action by either team in the second half. The defense has kind of dominated. You know, how does Green Bay get back into the game? A couple ways to do it. The defense, get a turnover. Special teams, can you return one? Can you make a play? But on the offensive side, I don't know what they do. 3 backup linemen. How do you create? How do you run the ball consistently when you have 3 backup linemen in there? So it's going to be tough for the Green Bay offense.
Show you the first half numbers in this one. Total yards, 78 for the Packers. There were a total between the two teams, 4 first downs in the second quarter and 44 total yards.
Hey, look, we got a great view up here. We can see the field. Wish I could have seen it like this when I was a player. I might have completed more passes. But, Jim, we're not saying the wrong thing. The Packer receivers are having a terrible time getting open down the field.
Yeah, Packers have not even had a play that's gone for 20 yards. Had a 19-yard completion to Rodgers, to Richard Rodgers in the first quarter, but that's about it.
Well, the success they've had is going across the middle by the tight end, Randall Cobb once by a receiver, and that's it. But, you know, the thing that has to give you hope for Green Bay, we've said it a few times, when they played up in Green Bay a few weeks ago, the Green Bay defense did a really good job against this Detroit offense, had opportunities to get turnovers, just didn't get it done.
Here's Crosby's kickoff to begin the third quarter. Abdullah, who took the second half kickoff 104 yards at Lambeau Field, this time has stopped at the 18. Let's go down to Tracy.
Jim Caldwell pleased with the job his defense has done. He felt that they did a decent job against the run, but when it came to his offense, he used the word sputtering. He said he wants to see more consistency in the run game and on third down conversions. One injury note, offensive linebacker Josh Bynes, he is being evaluated for concussion. Jim?
Well, you've got another Lion linebacker who is down in the special teams play, Travis Lewis. He's down in the middle of the field. Yeah, it was the Lions who got a spark at the start of the third quarter at Green Bay when Abdullah matched the longest non-scoring play in the history of the league. Went 104 yards before being tackled at the 1, and the Lions took off. The fourth-year linebacker out of Oklahoma, Travis Lewis, shaken up and hobbling on the Lions sideline as we have the first snap, quarter 3, 17-0 Detroit. Joyke Bell is the back to open up this quarter, and he rolls right off the Detroit offensive lineman. Look at him hurdle there out across the 35 for a gain of 18.
Well, watch the left guard. Tomlinson, number 72, goes down the field, gets Clay Matthews. That's what you do on a screen as an offensive lineman. Even if you can't knock him down, just dive, make the guy, the defender, jump up, move, so that running back can get some extra yards.
You want to jump? How about this one? A knee to the head, inadvertently into the head of Casey Hayward. 18-yard play. Quick throw here. It's to Tate. He's got another first down. He's bounced out by Burnett and written down by Jack Ryan.
Well, it's all up to the quarterback that time. Read it, whether to hand it off or throw the screen. And right away, Matt Stafford made the right decision. Golden Tate, good returner in his day. And really, look at the blocking down the field by the wide receivers. Calvin Johnson can do more than just catch. Pretty good blocker, too.
Jake Ryan holding on to him, their fourth-round pick out of Michigan. Rookie who's starting for him now. They think a lot of Jake.
What do you say to Mike McCarthy?
Born to be a Packer. As Abdullah Runs right into the arms of Jake Ryan.
And he said, tell us a little bit about Jake Ryan.
Tough, instinctive kid. Going into the draft, we looked at him and said, he looks like a Packer.
Looks like a Packer. And, the Packers, they know what's going on with their football team, playing some different guys here tonight. And I think just listen to Mike McCarthy. He knows where his team is, worried about it, the health, they're tired. But he's kind of putting a lot of guys on notice. I thought we'd see more of different receivers on the offensive side than we have here tonight. But same thing on defense. They got depth. If you don't produce, somebody else comes in.
Here's Stafford down the field to Johnson, just out of reach. Shields was covering him. Trying to get a long ball. Would have had to go on the distance, 48 yards. There's been almost 750 throws since Stafford last threw a touchdown pass that went for 50 or beyond.
Well, good job by Calvin Johnson. Matt Stafford saw what we saw in the first half when he threw the short touchdown pass to him. One-on-one, get Sam Shields. Good job by Sam Shields. Staying close. Making the pass incomplete.
T.J. Jones comes in for Johnson at wideout. Riddick is the running back. 3rd and 7. Got an open target. And that's Fuller for the first down at the 33.
Well, you give him time, and we talked about it. I said it. Matt Stafford is a special thrower of the football. You can say whatever you want. Oh, he doesn't have all that you need to be a quarterback. I know one thing. Give him time. Corey Fuller gets open, and he can fit it in some tight windows.
He got hit by Joe Thomas.
Yeah, and he gets up. He does limp around a little bit, still limping as he goes up behind the center. It's very noticeable.
Pass play for 15. Lions moving here to open up the 3rd quarter. Inside handoff to Tate. And good job of coming off the block by Clinton Dix. Holds him to 3. Most pass yards all time per game. 259 per game. Matt Ryan, he's on the list. Got to have played 75 games. Kurt Warner, Peyton's there at 271. Breeze at 279 and just a fraction ahead at 280.2. Matthew Stafford, that's number 1 all time.
Well, look, I said it many times. Every time we do a game, I marvel at his throwing ability. He'll never get the credit or the acclaim that he wants until they get to the playoffs, win some big games.
2nd and 7. That's Tate. And the spot looks like it's good enough for the first.
I say these things about Matt Stafford, and here's why, too, Jim. Because when the team was losing, I watched a lot of their games. I wasn't going, oh, wow, the quarterback's playing bad. You saw all the other problems. They couldn't stop the run. They couldn't protect Matthew Stafford. So, it's the first thing we always say when a team loses. Well, they got to change the quarterback. We need something different. We got to have Tom Brady.
How many teams in the league would like to have this guy?
Well, a lot. Yep. I know one team that's really happy and one coach. Jim Caldwell loves the fact that he has him as his quarterback. He had an outstanding year last year, and they're back on track this year.
And they're back with a first down. And across the middle to go. He was trying to find Johnson again. Clinton Dix on the coverage. And there's Martha Firestone Ford, the owner and chairman of the Lions. William Clay Ford, husband, passed away just a year ago. This franchise originally owned by a local man named George Richards. And then William Clay Ford became the sole owner in '64. And she is out to make changes and finally produce a winner here for the first time in years. The handoff goes to Riddick to the 19. They put together a whole search committee for their next GM. Ernie, of course, he's going to kind of lead that search.
Yeah, well, they got sidetracked. There's no question this year. And I think what's happened since the changes have been made, Jim, there's no doubt. You see the difference in their play. You can tell there's a great feeling once again around the town. I mean, everybody, as I walked in the stadium tonight, everybody's the same question. Hey, do you think we can win every game and make it to the playoffs? So hopes have been raised quite a bit in the last few weeks.
Pre-snap penalty
False
coming
start,
up.
number 74, offense. 5-yard penalty, remains third down.
So if they go on and win this game to get to 5-7, 4 straight wins, we're talking what the Lions have done, what the Chiefs have done, what the Texans have done. I mean, they have come back from the grave to turn this season into something. And that's the NFC playoff picture coming into the night. If they got to 5-7, their last 4 games against teams all with losing records, but only one of those games will be at home.
Well, they got pass rushers. They got the big-time receiver. Got the quarterback with a tremendous arm.
How about these turnarounds? What Andy Reid, Bill O'Brien have done. Jim Caldwell's got it going now here at Detroit. There's the dream.
There you go.
Third down. They've had the football for over 5 minutes to start the third quarter. Completion, got an open man with Jones. And they close in on him to keep him close or short of the first down. Jones' second catch of the year goes for 8.
Mike Neal, Casey Hayward, the 2 guys on the outside. It looks like it's Mike Neal, the outside linebacker.
Boy, it looked like he had the blockers and the people out in front. And that was going to, you thought for a moment, for a flash, it might be a big gainer. Instead, they got to bring out Prater. Made a 51-yarder on the opening drive of the game for the Lions. This is 34 yards. And it's good again. The man who was signed by the Lions as an undrafted rookie free agent in 06. Had some big years in Denver. Now back here with the Lions. 16-16 of the year. Now what will Rodgers do? NFL Thursday Night Football is sponsored by your local Lexus dealer and their pursuit of perfection. Zales. Declare your love with gifts from Zales, the Diamond Store. And by Corona, who invites you to find your beach. Some of the memorable moments from the rivalry, which dates back to 1930. First met City Stadium back in 1930 in Green Bay. And of course, the Lions then were known as the Portsmouth, Ohio Spartans. Started in 1930 and then began the regular annual tradition, now twice a year, of course, for a long time, in 1932. In fact, 21 times, this is a game many are accustomed to seeing on Thanksgiving Day in Detroit. 21 times Green Bay has been here to take on the Lions on Thanksgiving.
Great tradition. Loved watching it growing up. Even as a player, loved watching it.
That's high to the 25. Okay, we're down to 8:47 to go, and the Packers offense will be out here, trot out here for the first time in the second half, down 20.
Welcome back to Detroit. A few injury updates for the Lions right now. Linebacker Travis Lewis in the locker room with a right ankle injury. His return is questionable, and linebacker Josh Bynes has been cleared of the concussion. He will go back in the game. Golden Tate got hurt on that play coming out of bounds. They were looking at his neck. No official word yet from the Lions. And right now, Matthew Stafford getting some padding on that left hip. We saw him take a hard hit on that last drive. They're actually wrapping him up underneath his jersey as I speak. Jim?
Okay, here's Rodgers with pressure. Goes down the sideline, and Adams unable to make the catch.
Well, the story of the game, the story of the last few weeks. Look at this. Miscommunication. Wide receivers running to each other. Aaron Rodgers moves, and still nobody gets open. The pressure by the pocket, they push it back. He can't even really look down the field. Escapes, and where do you throw the football? Nowhere. That was their offense for many weeks, Jim, where he just moved around and made plays. The league, everybody sees it on film. They're used to it. And the receivers are not getting open on that second move.
Well, you see Diggs is down. You also might have noticed that number 38's in the backfield for the Packers. That's John Crockett, who was just signed today. They made a roster move with Green Bay. Running back, they brought him up and they waived Alonzo Harris. NFL fans, order your holiday gifts from NFLshop.com today and get a special discount at the official store of the NFL, NFLshop.com. So Diggs still down on the field. Here's a look at the Packers the last 5 games and how the numbers have gone south.
Yeah, just everything. Sacks, points per game. You know, it's like Mike McCarthy said. Until we talked about it, the team, yeah, they're beat up. They're, of course, right now, missing 3 starting offensive linemen. He's looking for answers, trying to put different people in there, just like John Crockett right now at running back.
Well, here he is, Crockett. First carry, no gain.
You know, he's just trying to do something to get some life. Somebody make a play. And that's all he complained about last night. My gosh, we get one-on-ones all the time, everywhere, and we're not physical enough as wide receivers to get open and get away from tight coverage on the outside. So we've seen him play Jeff Janis, Abradaris.
Well, he's back to his starting group of Jones and Cobb and Adams. Kuhn is the running back. 3rd and 10, stepping up and throws on the run, and he's got Rodgers. And a wiggle by the tight end down to the Detroit 48.
Well, this is the offense that we saw that really got them off to the great start. Yeah, they made plays, but it was this. It's a blitz. Nice pickup. Kuhn does a good job of getting in there, and Aaron Rodgers on the move. Finally see somebody break away down the field.
This was the longest play of the night for Green Bay, Phil, 26.
The only success they're having throwing the football so far is over the middle. Nothing to the sidelines.
Bring back Crockett at running back, and here he is. Makes a couple of nice cuts, and he's got it for a gain of 4, running behind Sitton.
I think that's why we're seeing Crockett in the game. Just the fact that, just look at him, boy, he is energetic. Back there is twitchy. You know, he's excited about getting this chance.
Give him another chance. And there he goes inside the 40 and down to the 32 for a first down.
Well, good job inside. J.C. Treader, the center.
Has picked up 12. We got another Lion down on the field. Diggs was taken, by the way, to the locker room. And now you got Don Carey, who had a fumble return for a touchdown here against Green Bay last year. So we'll step aside for a moment. Now the Packers with Crockett and Richard Rodgers have moved to the 33. Don Carey was able to walk to the Lions bench. The Packers have a first down on their first possession of the second half at the Detroit 33. James Starks is coming at running back. Here's the throw. Starks shakes off the hit. He's inside the 10 and down to the 8.
Well, we've seen the whole gamut of plays, the run play, the fake reverse, the reverse, and now we get the same look again. They fake the reverse, they pull the running back, and I said they're a terrific screen team. And once again, inside for a big game to James Starks.
Yeah, 25 yards with that one.
Score here, and you change this game around. That will put pressure back on that Detroit offense and give that Green Bay defense a chance for a turnover.
Here's the handoff to Starks. The ball is fumbled into the end zone and fallen on by Cobb for a touchdown. Randall Cobb recovers it. It goes flying out of the hands of James Starks, and Cobb is right in the area alone for the recovery and the score.
Good run up the middle.
That was Abdul Kudus who knocked it out.
Yes, and finally, they keep complaining on the defense. We can't find a way to get the turnover. Good job by Randall Cobb getting the recovery.
I'll bring in Mike Carey just to clarify things.
Yes, that's a legal recovery because it's not a fourth down play. Had it been fourth down, the ball would be brought back to the spot of the fumble.
And that scoreless drought ends at 69 minutes and 16 seconds. Well, Randall Cobb caught 6 touchdowns on the year. He's got a fumble recovery for a touchdown tonight. NFL Thursday Night Football is sponsored by Lowe's. Hurry in this weekend for great winter savings. And by T-Mobile. Ditch your carrier and switch to the Uncarrier. Hitsville, USA was the nickname given to Motown Records, first headquarters located just about 4 miles away from Ford Field. And that studio right there, some of the recording artists, the Jackson 5, the Four Tops, Diana Ross and the Supremes, the Temptations, Stevie Wonder. Amazing talents.
Well, let's see if that fumble recovery sparks his defense, which has been playing well. But the one thing that Detroit is doing to protect its offensive line, to take advantage of tight coverage down the field, that opening drive the second half, that'll slow a defense down. All the screens to the running back, outside to Golden Tate. Another quick screen to Golden Tate. So that's really how they moved the ball down the field for that field goal, Jim, was all the screens. It almost broke one for the big one to get to the end zone with a good tackle. Saved the touchdown by the Green Bay Packers.
Here's play action. Stafford has the ball stripped out of his hands and fallen on and recovered by Green Bay. It's Ryan with the recovery. It was Julius Peppers who stripped it.
Yes, he came around the corner and beat Riley Reef right from the start. A great get-off by Julius Peppers. Watch how quick. Oh, nice fake inside. That gave him the advantage to go around to the outside, and Matthew Stafford never felt it or saw it.
Boy, he just stopped that hand.
But that fake inside was just enough to freeze the left tackle, and Julius Peppers still has the speed to get around the edge, especially after a good move at the line of scrimmage.
And let's see with what kind of speed Green Bay tries to cash in on the takeaway. There's the pass. Rodgers to Rodgers for 1.
Oh, they had the right play called. They really did. If Josh Sitton tried to get out there, he makes the block. There's nobody to make the tackle. So the screen game being used a lot by both teams.
Julius Peppers in his 14th year, still making all kinds of plays. Second and 9. And that's covered up by the Lions. 2 guys on Rodgers. By the way, that sack by Peppers, it goes as a strip and a sack, forced fumble. He ties with that one Lawrence Taylor's total of 132.5 sacks in his career.
Well, Lawrence Taylor made a big interception in Detroit one year on Thanksgiving. Different stadium about this part of the field. But Green Bay, can somebody get open on the outside to get this football in the end zone?
3rd and 6. They can pick up the first down at the 2. Here's Rodgers to the end zone, and it is pulled down by Adams for his first touchdown of the year.
I like what they did too, Jim. This is what you do to receivers that are struggling to find a way to get open. They finally move him, and that motion comes in behind the other, and a little stick nod down the middle, and he beats Bynes for the touchdown.
Adams was the most targeted wide receiver in the entire league this year without a touchdown until that play.
Well, they called a zone defense, had the right play on, clean release.
And that was the 67th time he was targeted this year. Took that many passes from behind the end zone. Been the subject of a lot of scrutiny after the game against Chicago. A lot of people questioning his hands, but he grabbed hold of that one, made a fine catch. And how about how quickly this game turned around? On, of all things, a fumble recovery by the offense for a touchdown. Then the next play from scrimmage for the Lions.
Well, the defense has been hot. They finally come through with the turnover. And then just a different look by the Packers offense. And that's, I've kind of been waiting to see this tonight. Some different formations. Mike McCarthy.
How about Jordy Nelson?
Pretty excited about what's gone on here in the last few minutes.
Down 20-0 after the Lions' opening drive of the third quarter. Green Bay comes to life. You know, they got a couple of plays, just little moments of, if you will, successes and sparks by the likes of this kid Crockett, who ran it on that drive 3 times for 16 yards before. Abdullah hammered at the 22. Rodgers had a couple of big catches on that first touchdown drive. And the next thing you know, everybody's awakened. Sunday at 9 on NFL Network, Larry Fitzgerald sits down to discuss his resurgence this season and the Cardinals' push to a division title. NFL Game Day morning, live Sunday at 9, only on NFL Network. And again, next Thursday night, only on NFL Network, we'll have Arizona hosting Minnesota in a game with all kinds of seeding implications in the NFC. Abdullah up ahead for 4. What are the Lions feeling right now?
Oh, they feel a little pressure, a little tightness. That's why they came out and ran the football, to try to get some rhythm and get their offensive line back to being aggressive and confident. And you know, you talked about that last drive. Yes, Crockett came in for the Packers, gave them some energy, but it was the movement by Rodgers and the throw that really got that drive going.
2nd and 6. Good tackle on Riddick by Clay Matthews, keeping him a yard shy of the first.
Yeah, Clay Matthews at middle linebacker, that's where you see him most of the time now, and I think he's finally gotten used to it. You know, he's used to being on the edge and, you know, being out there on the perimeter, but he's found out once he's learned this position, there's a lot of action that goes on, and loves blitzing from the middle because he can catch guys off guard a little more than you can outside trying to beat a tackle.
It's 3rd and 1. Work it with Bell, and he's able to slide sideways through a little hole to pick up the first. Gain of 6.
Big first down for the Lions offense. Seen Mike Burton in there at fullback. And of course on 3rd and 1 you want to see him, but we've seen him back in there more tonight than we have in previous games.
Michael Ola, the right tackle for the Lions, is down. It's the 3rd different Detroit player to be injured in this quarter. Ola, in his 2nd year in the league out of Hampton. He was waived earlier this year by the Chargers.
It's kind of been a surprise for him.
He has. Been a long journey to get here. Played a couple of years in the Canadian League for Coach Tressman up in Montreal for the Alouettes. Played in the Arena League. Now getting his chance in starting, and they've been really happy with what he's done.
Yeah. It's one of the reasons why the offensive line has gotten better. Here he is against Mike Daniels. It's rolled over the fullback, Mike Burton.
Having a hard time putting any weight. On that left leg. Adrian Waddle will come in for him. We've talked a lot about the Packers missing starters on their offensive line. The Lions were without Travis Swanson tonight. Their starting center out with an ankle. Manny Ramirez, a long-time starter in this league, filling in for him. And that's Bell to the 41. Take a look at the possession chart. This is since it was 17-0 Lions after one quarter. Suddenly the Green Bay defense started making plays. Yes, that was a 5-minute plus drive, 11 plays and all to start the third quarter, led to a field goal. It's over to Riddick. He makes Shields miss him, but others come converging. And this kid Riddick is something else. He played both running back and wide receiver at Notre Dame. And this year, he's the leading receiving running back in the league. He's a couple of catches coming into the week ahead of Danny Woodhead.
Well, every team, I think, in the league, you need a guy that can come out of the backfield and catch passes for you. Why, Jim? Because the running back is a great matchup against linebackers, and they get him outside. So all that receiving he did at Notre Dame has helped him here in the pros from the running back position.
3rd and 1. Riddick is the back. Final minute of the third quarter. Stafford's pass was headed to T.J. Jones, and the Packers defense stiffens again.
Yeah, good job by the Packers. They engulfed Matt Stafford there. There's nowhere he can go, and really the pass over the middle to Jones, he is not open either, because here comes Jake Ryan from the other side. So this Packer defense, very fast, does a lot of different things, and it really has this Lions offense since the first quarter slowed it down tremendously.
Here's Martin trying to pin the Packers inside the 20. And it's at the 17, maybe the 18. Well, we showed you in the first half the Lions nominee for the Walter Payton Man of the Year, Stephen Tulloch. Well, here is the Packers nominee, Sam Barrington, the linebacker. He's dedicated his time to the big brothers, big sisters of Wood and Brown County, attending the annual bowling event for the children of Wood County. And at this past offseason, he was at the forefront of the NFL Play 60 movement in Green Bay. So Crockett is back in at running back. Like you said, Phil, brought all kinds of energy to the Packers. Just brought up today from the practice squad. There's a pass to Adams, and it's a gain of 3.
Well, really, it's a good job here in the second half. You talk about this Packers offense, missing the linemen, just the fact that they put Crockett in there, mixing up the plays, showing Detroit a few different looks on the offensive side, and it's helped them get these 14 points.
Here's Crockett. And here's Crockett going again for a first down. How about this kid Crockett? His first NFL game, signed as an undrafted free agent back in May out of North Dakota State. He picks up 10. He's their leading ball carrier with 26 yards on 4 carries, and we've reached the end of the third quarter. We start the fourth quarter at Ford Field. Jim Nantz with Phil Simms, Tracy Wolfson, Mike Carey, and all the crew here on Thursday Night Football. What was a 20-0 Lions lead early in the third quarter. Suddenly 20-14, and the ball belongs to the Packers. Not that time for Crockett.
Yeah, he was so anxious, he just fell down. Nothing happened there. And, as you look at this, as he falls down, you just think, Eddie Lacy got over 100 yards the last 2 games. Why haven't we seen more of him?
He's back in there now.
Well, there he is finally. He comes back in the game because he was not mentioned to us last night. Nobody said anything was wrong with him. But when he's been in, hasn't been productive. Maybe that's why they took him out.
They fake to Lacy. And Rodgers bends it, and there's another Adams drop. This kid's been, the story of his season's been nagging ankle injury and inability to make some crucial catches. We've got a Packer player down, and it's Bakhtiari, their left tackle. Oh my goodness, with the way things have gone, injury-wise with this offensive line. Their left tackle who's never missed a start in his 3rd year out of Colorado. And they're looking at his right leg. This situation's getting dire for the Green Bay Packer offensive lineman. You see from the sideline TJ Lang, who's out with the shoulder injury. Balaga with the hat on, out with an ankle. They've already lost Lindsley. You saw him in the background, re-aggravating his ankle injury. Now Bakhtiari is out, and Walker has come in. Josh Walker, number 79. He's going to play left tackle on this 3rd down and 14. And just as you would expect, the Lions come busting across, and Ziggy Ansah with the sack, giving him 12.5 sacks on the season.
Well, they were going to take advantage of the new guy in, and here's why. Here comes Josh Vines, so now you can't help out the new left tackle who's come in. And Ziggy Ansah, what an athlete, can do everything fast, and got around the corner for the sack.
Yeah, he's tops in the NFC in sacks. 2nd in the league only to J.J. Watt. And Mastay with the boot. Not a deep one. It's fair catch by Tate at the 42. This kid is something else. 3rd year out of BYU. Ziggy Ansah, who went to BYU on an academic scholarship out of Ghana. Tried to participate in sports. Tried out for the basketball team for a couple of years. Didn't make David Rose's team. Was on the track team for about a semester, and he went in and got a interview with Bronco Mendenhall, the head coach. Said, I'd like to play football.
Yeah.
Really didn't know anything about it. He attended a couple of games as a student. Makes the team 3 years later. He's a 1st-round pick. Here's Abdullah. Speaking of high draft picks, their 2nd rounder gets it out near midfield. But this kid, this Ziggy Ansah, has tremendous speed. Saw it perhaps best of all in a 75-yard run by Adrian Peterson earlier in the season. Watch him catch up with AP.
You said he ran track. Ran a 10,900 meters in track. So that size, that fast, what a quick adaptation to the NFL football.
2nd and 2, and that picks up the 1st down. Amir Abdullah for 4.
I mean, tonight they haven't done that much with Ziggy Ansah. Just to go to talk about him real quick. Usually he plays a little bit of linebacker, spies the quarterback, but he's been outside all night tonight. Bakhtiari, before he got hurt, was doing a great job against him.
Well, you just knew when they brought in on that 3rd down snap, 3rd and 14, and Josh Walker comes in.
Great call.
Left tackle. You just knew they were going to bring the heat.
They were not going to let Josh Walker get help and stop the pass.
1st down as we approach 12 minutes to go. There's a pass threaded to Calvin Johnson, just his 3rd catch of the night, although one of them went for a touchdown. By the way, Sunday, regional action on CBS, including the Jets and the Giants. Some will get their game late, like Denver and San Diego, or Kansas City and Oakland. All beginning with the crew that'll take you to Super Bowl 50. the NFL Today at noon Eastern this Sunday on CBS. Second and 3. Knocked down after a gain of 1. We'll check the marker.
Holding. Number 66 offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Well, that'll slow things down for a moment. That was Waddle who was called for it. Waddle who had come in late third quarter for Ola at right tackle.
Well, what's happening, Jim, you look at this Green Bay defense, and they know the score. And, of course, Mike McCarthy does. He looks up there, and you've got to be aggressive here. You don't want the Detroit Lions to get in field goal range because that'll make it 2 scores. And with the offensive line problems that the Green Bay Packers are having, almost impossible to think that they can get 2 scores here at the end of the game.
Second down, 13. No one open, a flag. A couple of them were thrown at the line of scrimmage.
Well, it was a screen play, so we're going to have offensive linemen down the field.
Yep.
Ineligible receiver downfield. Number 75 offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Why wouldn't Green Bay decline that penalty? I don't know why you take the 5 yards here.
Well, I don't know if they...
Could have been 3rd and 13 instead of 2nd and 18.
There you go. That's why I was just waiting.
So
Mike McCarthy was...
Yep. He got their attention and said, wait a minute.
Said, no.
Yep.
I think Jim Caldwell was actually arguing, hey, the linemen all got back on the side of the line of scrimmage, but once you break the line of scrimmage and go down the field, you come back, it's still a penalty.
Julius Peppers ready to pounce, given the chance. So is Clay Matthews. They're picked up now in traffic. The toss off the ground, and another flag is out.
Offside. Number 56 defense. 5-yard penalty. Replay third down.
Who said he was ready to pounce. He left early. Actually, he's lined up.
Lined up in the neutral zone, no question. Hand, helmet, everything.
First penalty on the Packers in this half. It gives the Lions another shot at third down. 3rd and 8.
Big third down. You got to keep them out of field goal range.
There's the pass to Ebron. That's a good piece of tackling by Shields to stop him 2 yards short. Now, Stafford and the offense are still out there.
They're going to go for it. It looks like, you think, okay, it's indoors. Do we go for the long field goal? But Jim Caldwell says he likes his chances better going forward on 4th down instead of trying the long field goal.
You saw Aaron Rodgers just absolutely encouraging his defense to make a play here. From the 38, 4th and 2. Pass complete to Tate for the first down. What a gamble.
Well, here's what they do. He bunched the receivers together to make sure they couldn't get... Here's Golden Tate just going to go up the field and hook it up. And the fact that they're all so close together, it is a blitz. So the linebacker that time, Jake Ryan, couldn't get there before Matthew Stafford threw the football.
Not only a first down, but also puts him in field goal range. Pepper's still shaking his head about that offside penalty against him, which comes up huge now. They're in on Abdullah after 1. Again, I'm looking forward to this one next week down in the Valley of the Sun. The Vikings taking on the Cardinals, both having sensational seasons. It's going to be a great scene. You just know that. Down in Glendale, Arizona, only on NFL Network next Thursday night.
Well, it should be. Watch Carson Palmer throw the football down the field. Adrian Peterson, defying age by NFL standards, is running back, and he was terrific last week against the Atlanta Falcons down in Atlanta.
2nd and 9. Here comes a blitz by Matthews. Getting it away, and just a half beat off with Calvin Johnson. I still thought he might get there.
He had the blitz. The pressure was he was so tight in the pocket. This is why he overthrows it. Clay Matthews, he saw it. He changes the play and was out and up by Calvin Johnson. So a lot of times the defender, boy, nice job by Bell blocking Clay Matthews. But you're expecting a quick pass on the blitz. And that was a great call by Matthew Stafford. Just missed it.
Green Bay's Casey Hayward was dinged on that play. Lions are going to have a 3rd and 9. If they fail to pick up anything here, you'd be bringing out Prater for another 51-yard attempt. He made one going in this direction from 51 in the first quarter. Dimitri Goodson comes in for Hayward.
Can't afford to lose any yards on a sack or a penalty for the Detroit Lions. And look at this. Everybody up at the line of scrimmage for the Packers.
Pressure. And Stafford is able to step away, and he is near that first down. He thinks he's got it, and he does. He rips off a 10-yard run.
Well, we talked about it a couple times tonight. He's just more athletic than people give him credit for, and that was a gamble, Jim. The blitz up the middle, they can't pick them all up. He made the decision to run, and it was a good one, and gets outside for the first down. Well, the football looks like it goes out of bounds just on the mark.
Tell you, Rollins didn't make much of an effort to push him out of bounds. Could have maybe stopped him a yard short. And that's a carry by Bell for a loss of 1.
Well, you go back, think of this drive. The offsides changed it. I mean, that was everything. First, we had the injury to Bakhtiari, which changed it for the Green Bay offense, but the offsides of Julius Peppers kept the drive going. And now clock is going on, using up clock, and you're in position to get a 2-score lead.
This is a drive now that's 6 minutes long. Second and 11. Pass with the pressure. The pass was off the mark.
They saw Theo Riddick out there against Jake Ryan. Hey, how many times you said Jake Ryan's name tonight?
He's a good-looking rookie, isn't he?
Oh, my gosh. I mean, he's fast, instinctive. You know, I thought the other linebacker that was in there before him, Nate Palmer, I said, wow, I like the way he's playing. And so I was kind of surprised to hear. But what happens, which we see all the time, you show it in practice. He did it enough. They finally had to put him in the game.
The Packers have had 7 fourth-quarter interceptions this year. That's the most by any team in the league. 7 of their 11 have come in the fourth. Boy, could they use one now. 3rd and 11. Here's Stafford's pass. And it's very nearly intercepted by Shields. Incomplete was the call intended for Megatron.
Well, the Packers, they don't just sit back. They try to make it happen. It's another blitz. Great delivery by Matt Stafford, but dangerous.
Look at Johnson had it in his hands, and then Shields almost took it away.
Yep.
Instead, we're going to have Prater coming out here trying to make it a 2-score game. 42 yards for Prater.
Sam Shields really Doing a good job on Calvin Johnson on the outside here tonight.
Prater, who holds the all-time NFL record with the 64-yard field goal when he was the Broncos kicker. The closeout of first half against Tennessee. We were there for that one, breaking the Dempsey and Elam record. So timeout call by the Lions because they were running out of time on the play clock. Week 13 continues Sunday on CBS and Fox. You can check your local listings for the game in your area. One of those games is Seattle at Minnesota. And the way the playoffs are positioned right now, much is going to change. We know that. That would be the matchup if the playoffs were tomorrow. That's exactly what it would be.
Oh, it's a great matchup. Can't wait to see it on Sunday. A lot of good games. Giants-Jets.
4th and 11. And Prater from 42. And Prater's kick is good. Seven minutes to go. Green Bay has all of its timeouts, but needs 2 scores. NFL Thursday Night Football, sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. K Jewelers, every kiss begins with K. And by McDonald's, teaming up with the NFL like never before. The Ford Motor Company's Dearborn truck plant, where a new truck rolls off the line about every minute. Aaron Rodgers thought that field goal by Prater was wide left from his angle.
He knew how big it was.
Hold on a minute, Aaron. Oh, it's good.
Try to keep it to 1 score. I think the big thing is, will David Bakhtiari be able to come back in his game and play left tackle for the Green Bay Packers?
And watching him on the sideline, I think he is going to return. Look at Janis decide to run it out. And Janis tiptoes the traffic. And he's down at about the 16 by Don Carey, who was shaken up earlier. And there is Bakhtiari returning at left tackle. That last series were some key moments. First, the 3rd down stop by the Packers, but Peppers was lined up offside, gave them another chance. And then the 4th down play from Stafford to an open Tate, who's caught 22 passes the last 3 weeks. And it led to the Prater field goal to make the margin 9. Stepping away from the contact, and now taking off out of bounds for about 6.
Really good job. Aaron Rodgers getting out of the pocket. Watch the receivers down the field. If he had time, nobody's open. He moves. Now he's outside the pocket. They still do not come open. Darius Slay, excellent job in Green Bay 3 weeks ago. Doing another excellent job here tonight against James Jones.
2nd and 4. Starks up the middle and fighting for it, getting close. A foot short, 3rd and less than 1. And Eddie Lacy, 5 carries for 4 yards, 1 catch for a loss of 3.
Yeah, it's a mystery, isn't it? I mean, after the last 2 games, especially in a situation like this, gained over 100 yards, but tonight,
not a factor.
Not a factor is right.
3rd and a foot. Jump pass just in. Time and incomplete. And now what do you do with 5:47 to go? At this place on the field, that was Abdul Kudus, who got a hit on Rodgers.
Came on the blitz on the outside. Aaron Rodgers did not have time to get rid of it, and they're going to go. Looks like they're going to go for it.
They are.
And I agree with the decision. They tried to catch Detroit's defense off guard with the 3rd down pass. They didn't. The blitz got there. You need 2 scores. 5:47 to go.
4th and a foot.
You go for it.
From their own 26. And a timeout is called by Green Bay. It's called by McCarthy on the sideline. And even though they're probably going to need that one back later on, he didn't like what he was seeing.
Well, if you just change your decision and you want to punt the football, then just take the delay of game. So I think you're right. They didn't like the play. I know this, just from that formation they lined up in, Jim, Detroit's defense was all up there. They were going to make it tough on whatever it was, run or a quick pass. They were not going to give them an easy completion.
Well, if you fail here and Detroit takes over at that point on the field, even if the Lions scored a touchdown, got the extra point, it would still be a 2-score game.
That's right. Put it to 30-14, 2 scores, 2 two-point conversions.
4th and a foot. Safe pass to Cobb. Shakes off the hit. Cobb out of bounds at the 41.
Wow. Probably one of the first passes they install every single year is this play here. Randall Cobb in the slot. Nice little fake at the line of scrimmage and breaks out.
Goes for 16. Cobb's 3rd catch of the night.
Mike McCarthy, boy, you better
Had Diggs
get out of the way.
Yeah, flying in down low. Here's another throw over to Cobb. And he's out of bounds after a short gain. And that's Diggs on the hit. Let's go down to Tracy.
Well, Jim, you mentioned Eddie Lacy, just 5 carries, 4 yards. We've seen James Starks. We've even seen the rookie John Crockett in his first NFL game. I spoke to officials down here on the Packers sideline, and they told me it is not injury related. It is a coach's decision, Jim.
Okay. Not happy with his play. They keep him on the sideline, 2nd and 6. Starks faked like he was going inside, goes outside and out of bounds. And that's near another first. And it is a first down.
Good job by Starks getting some extra yards. And just go back to Eddie Lacy. We talked to the coaches last night. Everybody, Aaron Rodgers, they mentioned everybody in the offense. And the one name we didn't hear, Eddie Lacy. So something went on during practice. We tried to really kind of find out whatever it is. Preparation. Maybe they didn't like it. They gave him a chance here tonight. It didn't work. And he's watching from the sidelines.
4:40 to go. New set of downs. And a pre-snap penalty call.
False start, number 67, offense. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
First and 15. That's Rodgers. All the way to the 27.
Rodgers is having a good night. These are the type of passes over the middle. It's a blitz. Good job by the offensive line. Beat up 3 reserves. Still pick up the blitz to give Aaron Rodgers time to throw.
6 catches for 90 yards for Rodgers. Make it 7 catches for 100. As he's got a 10-yard gain and another first down.
Boy, just a little screen to the outside. Nice running.
From the 17, screen starts. Thought he was down. They rule him down. Again, Abdul Kudus. He shows up in so many places.
Well, he's aggressive. We've talked about him a few times tonight. Fast. They love the way he plays. And if Aaron Rodgers wants to take a shot at the end zone, every single play, it's single coverage on the receivers.
Here's Here's a shot right here to Adams, and they wrestle each other down as the ball falls to the ground. That was Lawson on the coverage, and now it's third down coming up, and if they fail to do anything here, remember they still need 2 scores, so they would go field goal.
Bottom of your screen, Aaron Rodgers has what he wants. It's just a little underthrown. If he throws it higher, Adams is going to have a chance to reach up and grab that football.
Right off the back of the helmet. 3rd and 11 at the Detroit 17. From the pocket. Now, rolling out, pointing, taking off. First down, touchdown! Aaron Rodgers runs it home.
What a great job by Aaron Rodgers. Nobody's open, breaks outside, and every defender had his back turned away from Aaron Rodgers. Of course, that's why he goes in the end zone untouched. Nobody saw him. Ziggy Ansah on the chase. But look, still, you could see all the defenders with their backs to Aaron Rodgers in the end zone. Nobody, receivers are covered, so he took advantage of it.
Crosby, extra point is good. Green Bay's longest run of the night belongs to its leader. Aaron Rodgers trying to rally them back from 20 down. $84 yards in 4 minutes, 11 plays, one of which was the 4th and 1 from their own 25, which paid off. Although it did cost them what could be a vital timeout, leaving the Packers with 2.
Changes things. I would kick off here. You only need a field goal. No onside kick.
And Crosby sends it through the end zone.
Puts a lot of pressure now on that Packer defense to get a 3 and out.
NFL Thursday Night Football sponsored by Walmart. Walmart has everything you need to share wonder every day. And by National Mortgage Lender Quicken Loans. Home buy, refi, power. Yes, it's getting rather tense. A lot of quick decisions being made down in the truck by the likes of Mike Tiffey, Mike Arnold, Lance Barrow, Corey Fishman. And that row right behind him with Jim Rickoff and Brian Kozowski with his home game here, the Dearborn boy. Tyler John, Ryan Marr. Here we go. 3:04 remaining. Can the team that's tied for last in the league in rushing, the Lions, can they run out the clock?
Well, look what they're doing. Everybody to line of scrimmage. Clean run all the way.
Matthews and others were ready to get the jump on that. We got a pre-snap call here against the Lions for 5.
False start, number 66, offense. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Again, that's on Waddle, who's had to replace Olop here for the last quarter at right tackle. Second penalty on him.
Jim, look at everybody except the 2 defenders on the wide receivers playing up there, just knowing that they're giving up a first down could end the game for the Green Bay Packers. So Dom Capers being aggressive with the play call.
It's given to Bell. He's backed up by 1 or 2 yards, and again, it's the rookie Ryan comes up to make the play, and a timeout called by the Packers at 3 minutes. That sets up now 2nd and 16 for the Lions. Again, coming up, the Mazda post-game show, interviews and analysis of tonight's game. If you're the Lions, do you run it again to force the Packers to take their last time out?
Oh, man, after we've seen it, would I give the football back to Aaron Rodgers and take that chance and think he only needs a field goal? That's pretty tough to do. I look at it and say, safe play. They've had some success with screens. But if you're going to try to win the game, well, you're going to have to throw it against tight coverage, most likely on the outside.
They go to the shotgun with Amir Abdullah, the running back. Here's the quick safe throw. Tate Forced down at about the 18, and the last timeout called by Green Bay with a 3rd and 12 on the way.
Yeah, you're right. That's what, throw the screen. That was a safe, hoping to catch them in an aggressive defense and take advantage of it. But Green Bay, the defense, after that terrible start in a turnover where they got 7 easy points, the defense, they're showing their speed, they're complex. They've played well.
Well, to think when these two met 3 Sundays ago, it was a 2-point Detroit win, 18-16. And the margin is 2 for the Lions at the moment.
Well, there's no question. Now you can't play safe if you're Detroit. You've got to try to get the first down, go down the field with the football to win the game.
3rd and 12, first down yardage at the 30. From the pocket, the pass. It is caught by Jones, just his 3rd catch of the year.
Protection was great. Jones is on the inside. He's going to go down. That little move to the outside, and he beats Quentin Rollins inside. Just, that's how he won it. The little head fake gave him enough separation, and Matt Stafford, good protection, just threw a bullet in there for the completion.
And it was a clean catch. Bobbled it for a moment, but he had the hand underneath. Jordy Nelson in disbelief. As now, there's 1 snap to go before the 2-minute warning. TJ Jones seeing action really tonight because Lance Moore was inactive with an ankle injury. 2-minute warning at Ford Field. Lions trying to close it out. We're back with the Packers out of timeouts. 2nd down coming. What is the best situation Green Bay can hope for?
Probably around 30 seconds, maybe a little less. Depends on the length of the plays that Detroit runs here on 2nd and 3rd down.
It's Belt. Brought down behind the line. Couple of yards lost there. Mike Daniels. And this next snap won't occur until a little under 1:20 to go. And again, that timeout that you'd love to have had, but you had to call it before they set up the play for 4th and a foot.
That's right. Maybe they wouldn't have got the first down if you didn't call the timeout.
Right.
But look, there's no doubt the Detroit Lions, they are going to run the football here. You don't attempt to pass and give Aaron Rodgers, in case it's incomplete, any extra time to get down for the field goal.
Bell gives back 2 more. And it'll be right at about 30 seconds when they punt the football. Mazda post-game show, interviews and analysis of tonight's game is coming up next.
Well, the big thing is when the Packers get this football, if you're Detroit's defense too, what was the original plan to start tonight? Let's keep Aaron Rodgers in the pocket. That's what the defense wanted to do. They haven't done a very good job of it, really. It hasn't hurt them. It did on that run, but when he's gotten out of the pocket to throw the ball, the receivers have been covered.
So the punter still stands on the sideline. He'll call the timeout there. And around these parts here in the state of Michigan, you get late in the game, you don't take anything for granted after what happened in that Michigan State game.
Oh, that's a good point. We were all watching that night. I forgot where we were, but it was that afternoon.
I do remember, though, poor Tracy. She loves her Wolverines, her alma mater. And to say she was crushed is an understatement. Matter of fact, you know where we were? We were in Green Bay. We're in Green Bay getting ready for the Chargers and Packers the next day. Here we go. And he hit the ground, but no flag. And the fair catch by Hyde at the 20 with 23 seconds left. Packers got somewhat close in on Martin.
Yes, that was a little closer than they wanted, I'm sure, for Detroit.
Mike Neal.
That was Mike Neal, number 96, that got the penetration but could not get in front of the punter. And again, Detroit, their job, surround Aaron Rodgers, knowing if he throws it in the middle of the field, the clock won't stop.
Crosby says, give me one more chance, having missed the kick at the end of the game at Lambeau Field, down 2, that would have won it. It was a mystery kick. I've never seen the usually reliable all-time scorer for the Packers miss one like that. But here we go. With no timeouts, Rodgers rolling out. On the run. Flings it and tapped away. What a play, too. Beautiful pass defense by Diggs.
What a play is right. Aaron Rodgers full sprint to the sideline. And Diggs, the extra defensive back, makes a great play against Randall Cobb. Boy, he's sprinting, the defense is there, and just flicks it with his wrist about 40 yards down the field, right on target.
16 seconds. Packers cannot afford to be tackled in the field of play. Rodgers. Can he complete one? Got a man down there, and it's incomplete. Abradaris was the target. Rodgers says, wait a minute. Wasn't that contact? No flag.
3-man rush. They let him out of the pocket. Abdul Quddus is looking for the football.
Mike Carey, I got to bring you in real quick here. What did you see there?
That was a great no call. Both players looking back, playing the ball. The ball comes right to them at the same time. Great play by the defense. No call for pass interference.
Well, 6 seconds. I don't think they can advance it in 6 seconds. Surely they can't get it far enough to be able to get out of bounds and kick a field goal. So one absolute desperation moment in the middle of the field to Jones. To Rodgers. How about that? Rodgers gets it the other way. He's thrown down. We got a flag. The game's not over. Grabbed him by the face mask. That was Devin Taylor.
Personal foul, face mask. Number 98 defense. 15-yard penalty.
This is like what happened in the Baltimore-Jacksonville game this year.
The game will be extended for one play.
But in that case,
they got
Jacksonville had enough, with the penalty, enough yardage to be able to be in field goal range for the winning kick by Myers.
Devin Taylor.
I don't know, did it get the face mask?
Well, he hit it. It looked like it. It happened so fast. I could see why they threw the flag. I thought so, even from so far away.
All right, well, the ball is spotted.
Yeah, he hits the face mask.
At the 39. How far can Rodgers throw it?
He can make it to the end zone if he gets out of the pocket, gets a little running start. But can the receivers get far enough down the field?
Rodgers in trouble.
It's going to get there.
He turned 32 yesterday. Does he have a vintage moment in him? In the end zone, it is caught for the win. Richard Rodgers with a walk-off touchdown. A game ender for the Packers. Total disbelief at Ford Field. The Packers saved by the face mask call, given one last chance. And Aaron Rodgers heaves it as far as he can. And Richard Rodgers boxing out in the end zone for the touchdown. The son of a former Cal football player who was involved in the band play, one of the all-time game enders in football history, the Stanford-Cal game of years ago, 1982. Now the son comes up with the play of his own.
Well, right from the start, again, you let Aaron Rodgers out of the pocket, good movement, and you wanted to know if he could reach the end zone. I had no doubt that he could get it there. By getting outside the pocket, 3-man rush, that's the first mistake, but make him stand there. He couldn't have reached it, but look at the running start. He looked across the field, saw the line of scrimmage, the chain markers, then throws it up, and boy, nobody in front of Rodgers. Rodgers, terrific night.
Rodgers to Rodgers. Two guys from Cal connect.
What a throw, what a catch. Of course, the penalty gives them that one more chance. But you know what? You can't blame that. You got to blame the defense. The fact that you know the only thing that can beat you if you let him get outside the pocket, and they let him get out there a couple times on that last drive.
They had to officially snap it off the touchdown. They take the knee. The game is over. And the Lions season basically ends with that Hail Mary.
Here it is, the big penalty. Is it a good call? Yes, he hit the face mask. You've got to throw the 15-yard penalty.
And Mike Carey, did you think that was the right call on the face mask?
He got just enough to draw the flag. What you're looking for is a grab and a twist. But when it happens that fast and the head goes down, you're going to get a flag on that for player safety.
There you go. The head went down. That's what probably made the flag come out.
From 20 down.
You know, the
barely a pulse. This is the biggest comeback in the history of this rivalry that dates back all the way to 1930, the 173rd meeting. And the Packers, what a changer. What a complete season changer it is.
Oh, yes. How high and how far did he throw that football?
Incredible. Let's go down to Tracy.
Aaron, have you ever been through something like that?
We've been on the flip side of that. We know that feeling. I'm out of breath. It's the most amazing game of my life. To be a part of that, to never give up. You know, Tom Clements always talks about time and downs. You got a chance. I get face masked on the last play. I knew we were about at the 40. Guys gave me enough time. I just tried to get it in the end zone there. And I can't believe Richie caught it.
While that ball was up in the air, what was going through your mind?
Catch it. You got to catch it. I felt good it was going to be in the end zone. I got a nice run up into it, a crow hop into it. I could see Tay kind of trying to box out, get in position. I didn't see Richard until the last second, but when he caught it, it was just, I blacked out. I don't know what happened, but I know it was the greatest feeling I've had on the field in a long time.
How about that for a birthday present?
Yeah, it feels pretty good. 32, I'm still young, but this team keeps me young as well. It's a great group of guys that stuck together, never stopped believing. We were terrible in the first half. Second half, we got it going. When Matt hit that first down late, we thought it was over. Time and downs, though, we had a chance. I mean, it's the greatest game I've been a part of minus the Super Bowl.
Can you use that as a spark going forward now?
I hope so. We're 8-4. We're in the mix. Huge win for us. I mean, we're going to enjoy this weekend, have some laughs, get ready to come back next week at home.
Go enjoy it. Have some cake, too.
All right.
How about that statement? Thank you, Tracy.
Well, you could hear he was out of breath. He was so excited, but
greatest game he called it since winning the Super Bowl.
Well, just the excitement to know that there's so many odds against you. But how about the throw? The fact that he knew it. He even said to Tracy Wolfson, get outside. I said he could make it, but it's the movement of him knowing he needed to buy time, and he is slick in the pocket. And then watch, he looked across the field. Oh my gosh, that's from the 35. That's 60. That's close to 70 yards. But it's how high it went is what's so impressive.
If this was in Dallas, it would have hit the scoreboard.
So he threw it so. A lot of guys can throw it that far, but they can't throw it that high. You saw the flexibility of his body.
Look at Rodgers' turnaround. 6'4". Look at him put his body right in front of everyone. Two-handed, right down with it.
The Detroit defenders were all looking at receivers again, just like on Aaron Rodgers' touchdown run. So they had their back turned to him, and it took too long for him to turn and locate the football.
given one last chance.
Mike said, watch his helmet go down. That's what you see. That's why they threw the flag.
A 61-yard winner. Devastating loss for Detroit. Really falls out of the playoff picture. They had all these ideas of winning out, and they were in control of this one at 20-0 at one time. Well,
if you'd have told me at halftime, I'd have said there's about zero chance that Green Bay could make a comeback and win the game. What a job by the players. What a job by the coaches.
Happy birthday, Aaron Rodgers. Yes, indeed, it was truly a vintage moment. The miracle in Motown. The Packers pull off the victory.